Hi guys, it's Sophie with the Facts of Life. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Excuse me today, guys, but I'm just getting in from the gym and I'm a little. In order for this video to go out, I had to just go with the flow on this one, literally. So I hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you have a fantastic week. And again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm enjoying the comments that you all are leaving. Please don't forget to keep commenting and let me know if I'm resonating with if I'm getting through to you all out there in YouTube land. So diamond members, welcome back. And if you haven't subscribed, come on, become a diamond member. It's free to get in right now. So come on in on the ground level, okay? So let's talk about a story that is passionate to my heart. Let's talk about stepchildren and stepsisters and brothers and how we use labels to keep people in a box. We use labels to define our association with them. We use labels to tell people their place in our lives. And I've never liked anything, stepmother, stepbrother, stepsisters. And I actually had a brother, he passed on, unfortunately, a few years ago. And we were the same age. Yeah, go figure. Yeah. If my papa was Rolling Stone, he was rolling all over Chicago. But I loved him. I loved him to life. But my brother and I'm a few years younger than him. And his birthday was further on down in the year. But we were the same age. And when we discovered that, we laughed about it. We said, I'm not even going to entertain the fact that, we're both the same age. And we took it and we were like, we're not going to use stepsister and brother. I said, you're my brother. He said, yes. And he said, you're my sister, right? I said, yes. So we never took that to heart. We took it as we were both one and the same. We were brother and sister. Like, we didn't take away from it. We didn't add on to it. And I see a lot of people say, well, and I don't mind saying bonus. I prefer bonus child over stepchild, because step means it feels like you're kind of like an outsider. You don't really belong there. Or stepmother, like you don't really belong there. And I know everybody has a right to define their relationships according to how they feel, but labeling them sometimes has a toxic effect, because we're allowing people to say, this is, and then a lot of times unconsciously we treat people the way we label them, and that's where the trouble comes in. It's like baby mama, baby daddy, and so we don't really go back and redefine those labels. And even like when you have a job, people are associated with their label. If you were in ministry, you're associated with that label. And people try to say they connect you to the label that you give yourself or the other, based on that label, people, take it like this is what you are. So we have to be careful about labeling people, especially children, because children, once it's branded on them, it's like it never leaves their brains. Like they carry that on into adulthood. And I think that's why a lot of children now have issues. I'm not saying that's the only reason, but you're putting them over in this category and you're treating them a certain way. Those children are not responsible for the dynamics of that relationship. The grown adults are the two that are responsible. And I think we need to stop trying to put stuff on children as adults, because we're not able to break it down into a lowest common denominator or make it simple for the children to understand. So we just stamp everything across the board. You're this, you're that. You're not my child. You're this, and that doesn't benefit anybody. And I think at some point we need to redefine our labels. Even baby mamas, baby daddies. Like, I know what the world says they're labeled as, but they're still people. They're still humans. And then we fall into this category where we're putting people into the negative stigmas of society. We're saying that they can't do any better. They're going to be this. they can't be successful. They can be successful. They have to work harder at it, but they're capable of being successful. And that's where we have to stop allowing ourselves to be labeled. I remember when one of my children was, instructor was trying to label one of my children the class clown. I said, no, ma'am. I said, you will not address. I went off on her. I didn't curse at the lady. I did not curse. But I said, you will not label my child the class clown. His name is not the class clown. He was born. And I told her his name. And I said, that's the way you will continue to address my son. Now, if you don't feel like you can address him like that, then you can move him to another class. And I'll be glad if you oblige me at that, because I will not allow you to label my child as a class clown. And this is how children get put into unnecessary categories when they're younger. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Don't allow people to label your child anything. If you didn't call them that, don't let the world call them that either. So we have to be careful when we're using labels on people, and because you never know the imprint that it'll leave on a child's life. And if you just love on that child and treat them with respect and dignity, what happens? They can learn to love and treat you with respect and dignity. I'm not saying every scenario is perfect. There will never be a perfect scenario for any situation. But we have to keep understanding that as adults, we are the ones who are responsible for taking care of our children and making sure they thrive and not just survive. Okay, so I hope you learned a little bit something from this video today. And again, thank you so much for watching, Diamond members. Thank you, and I appreciate your input on my videos, and just keep watching. You never know what's coming next. Bye, guys.